En welkom terug. Zou mijn vraag het hebben gehaald? Met die vraag zit u misschien wel thuis nu op de bank. Want de afgelopen periode heeft u weer vragen kunnen stellen aan iemand uit de Formule 1-wereld. En in dit geval was dat de baas van Minardi, Paul Stoddart. Olaf Mol is het doorgeefluik.
Goed, we zijn aanbeland in het motorhome van het team van Minardi. En ja, we zijn blij dat die motorhomes er weer zijn. Hoeven we niet tussen de kisten te zitten. En ik ben ook blij dat deze man er is. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Paul Stoddart.
Thank you.
On behalf of everybody in Holland, who knows you quite well nowadays, we selected a couple of questions. One is quite a funny one. It comes from Dennis Wessels, lives in Staphorst. He says he's a communication student, and he was wondering why you have two factories. He says if you just have one, it'll improve communication, to save a lot of money, and the money you can put into the development.
Well, I think a lot of people know the reason we have two factories is that we already had one in England before we acquired Minardi, and of course Minardi have been based here in Faenza, just down the road from Imola, for the last 24 years. So that's why we've kept that factory, but we tend to make the two work together, and with modern communications these days, including video conferencing, data technology, transfer, etc., it's not a problem.
It's not a problem at all. Is it difficult, if you would like that, to get the Italian guys over to England, or you don't want to do that at all?
No, I think the team will remain and always will remain based in Italy. Certainly that's our main base, and what I find is that when we do bring them over to England for a little while, they enjoy themselves, and equally when we bring the English over to Italy, they enjoy themselves.
But English food is horrible, so how do they enjoy that?
Oh, I think they enjoy our English food. They've had 4 years now of an English chef here, so they're getting very used to it, and he's getting used to cooking Italian.
All right, we go to Eindhoven, home of PSV Eindhoven. Ivan Rosen, he says, when Willux became the sponsor, they also found out that Tom Cornell was going to do something. What's the status of that now? When and what and why and how?
Right, Tom, correct in saying that he is going to be driving later on this year in the Minardi. He'll be doing some testing for us. We'll be probably doing it in the second half, or we'll definitely be doing it in the second half of the year after we come back from US and Canada. And Tom will be part of one of our programs. It's more, as much as anything, to give Tom another run in the Formula 1 car. He hasn't been in one for a while. In fact, the last time I remember was 99 in the Arrows. So we'll give him a run. I mean, I've got a lot of time with Tom. I've known him for years, and good driver.
All right. Paul, this one is from a very friendly guy, Pierre Strumpf in Hoofddorp. He says, I would like to know when, in the view of all Minardi's financial worries in Formula 1, you had a last good night's sleep.
Last night.
You did?
Yeah, no, I mean, the financial worries are always going to be part of Minardi, and indeed any of the small teams, until we get a fairer distribution of the wealth of Formula 1. And, you know, much has been said about this renegotiation of the Concord Agreement, our governing document, and that is actually taking place. Slowly but surely it is taking place. And once that happens, I think you'll find that teams like us, like Jordan, will have a fairer distribution of wealth, and we'll have a few more good nights' sleep.
All right. We go to Lelystad. That's on re-owned land. Used to be sea, you know.
Reclaimed land.
Yeah, reclaimed land, sorry. Remco Dijkhuizen, he says you've already achieved great things, keeping the team going, introducing new talents, having your own team. How do you keep motivated?
I think very much by what you've just said. I mean, first of all, back in 2000, it was clear that Minardi was not going to survive. They were not going to turn up in Melbourne in 2001. We came in, those famous 6 weeks and 3 days from building a car from scratch. And then Fernando Alonso comes home in 12th place at his first Grand Prix with a car that had never driven before it arrived there.
Incredible.
That's the kind of thing that builds motivation. The next year, we had the most famous 2 points probably in the history of Formula 1.
Absolutely.
And you can live off one like that for a long, long time.
Yeah, Mark
Last year in Brazil, Eddie Jordan won the race, but Jos was ahead of him. We were set for the first ever, at least podium, if not victory, in the history of Minardi.
You weren't going to stop anymore.
We were not stopping. I had taken the decision before that race to send Jos out with a full tank of fuel in the spare car to finish the race without stopping. And we guessed right that the 75% of the race would be run under the safety car, and that it wouldn't go for more than 75% distance. All of this happened. The only thing is, to finish first you've got to finish. So they're the kind of things that motivate us. Also, last year when Ralf Schumacher was injured and we had Marc Genet back in the Williams, at that point we had 8 drivers out of 20, 40% of the grid, and I believe that's a modern day record. 40% out of the grid were Minardi drivers, past or present. I'm very, very proud of that. I'm proud of Fernando. I'm proud of Mark. And, you know, we do provide more than our contribution to the sport of Formula One.
Yeah, you can be proud of that as well. Thanks for your time. That's all we have time for today. All the best this weekend here in Imola. And
thank you.
We
It's a
keep an
pleasure.
eye on you. Don't forget that. Cheers, Paul.